Hi, everyone. My name is Theo Lear, and welcome to our operational budget presentation for the 2022 TTRA conference.
My name is Dean Morris.
My name is Malia Cook.
I'm Lauren Arian.
And I'm Olivia Crisco. As of March 2020, the exhibition and events industry had lost 14.4 billion euros, which is 16.5 billion US dollars. Overall, the global events industry has generated $1,135.4 billion in 2019 and is expected to reach $1,552.9 billion by 2028. The TTRA is anticipating that travel numbers will continue to rise in quarter 3 and quarter 4 of 2022. With that being said, events are starting to make a comeback with safety measures and protocols being put in place to ensure guests and attendees feel comfortable while being at the event. A few of the TTRA's competitors are the U.S. Travel Association, which offers travel management services and has a revenue of $32 million, and the Korean Dawn Airlines, which is a leading tour operator and airline company that also has a hotel chain and generates $31 million.
Awesome. A little bit more background on TTRA as a whole. They have been the industry's go-to for evidence-based global data and analysis for more than 45 years. And they hold this annual TTRA conference every June, which attracts an international audience. The TTRA website reports that 58% of travelers are optimistic about the return of travel after the vaccine is widely distributed. Along with that, they were able to study the top factors that are preventing people from taking a trip, which can be seen below.
Thank you, Malia. Now that you have a little bit more information about the conference itself, I'd like to give you some insight into how we prepared the 2022 operational budget. Starting out with a brief overview of some key points from 2019, it is important to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic. So you might be wondering why we are using a 3-year-old budget to inform our future decisions. And the simple answer to that is that the 2020 and 2021 budgets are not representative of normal operations. Because regulations are loosening and the pandemic is now under control, we decided to inform our decisions with older data as we think it is more representative of what next year will look like. Next, a noteworthy feature of the 2019 budget was its sponsorship line items. Overall, in 2019, we accurately budgeted for sponsorships, which is an indicator that it is a relatively safe category to change when trying to increase our profits. Lastly, from 2019, the bottom line was inaccurate. Because of this, we knew that some fundamental part of our budgeting process had to change, which I will talk about shortly. Now, moving on to the 2022 operational budget, there are 3 key features that I'm going to point out to you. First is the use of sponsorships to increase profits. As previously mentioned, we have a solid foundation on which we can utilize sponsorships to spark growth, which is exactly what we are going to do. If there was more ambiguity surrounding this category of the budget, we would not have specifically used it in our strategic growth plan. Next, I'm going to talk about our new, more informed budgeting plan. The main basis for this shift in budgeting practices is the inaccurate bottom line from the 2019 fiscal year. Because of this, we carefully referenced previous year's numbers to project an accurate budget that will result in a better attendee experience and more financially beneficial conference for the TTRA. Lastly, one of the other main points of growth for us is our targeting of non-members. In 2022, we are expecting more non-members to attend through our increased marketing efforts, which are reflected in the budget. Through this increased non-member attendance, more people will be introduced to our company, which can potentially lead to higher membership numbers and increased word-of-mouth marketing. And with that, I will pass it off to Malia, Lauren, and Dane to go more in depth on our 2022 operational budget.
Awesome. Thank you, Theo. All right, so looking at the revenue, all of the highlighted quantity and cost numbers designate adjustments from the 2019 budget to the 2022 budget. All right, so looking at the registration fees, we anticipate that there will be more attendees at this conference due to many people being locked down throughout COVID and not being able to engage with other people in the experience industry. Additionally, we took into consideration the economic impact that COVID-19 has had on many individuals, and this is why we have decreased the registration fee for all types of attendees. Specifically the members, we decreased the most to incentivize people to become members, which will help increase net income for years to come. Also, we anticipate that there will be a significant amount of students attending this conference, as students for the past year and a half have been engaging in most of their education through online Zoom meetings and have lacked personal interaction with others, and this gives them a great opportunity to collaborate with others in the experience industry. Looking at the exhibitor fees, we anticipate that there will be more exhibitors in 2022 than 2019 as a result of many experienced brands and companies taking a significant hit during COVID. This conference gives them an opportunity to kind of meet with others in person. And also we took into consideration the economic impact, also decreasing the price, the fees for exhibitors as well. Looking at sponsorships, we increased the price of the award dinner, the receptions, and the lunches as well, due to the increase of expected attendees, and we want to keep a high standard for all of those attending. Also, we raised the quantity of commercial display advertisements due to the fact that we underestimated the amount of revenue they would generate in 2019. And lastly, for merchandise, we increased the quantity of merchandise available due to the increased expected amount of people that will be attending the conference, while maintaining the same price for memorabilia, collectibles, and souvenirs. All right, now on to Malia to discuss expenses.
Cool, thank you, Dane. So taking a look at the first part of the expenses in the budget, we decided to keep administrative the same because that kind of transitioned over nicely and it worked well for the last conference. Looking forward into marketing and promotion, we made some changes in advertising and promotion, both increased and printing decreased. We want to really reach a lot of people and get a lot of people involved. We also thought that because of COVID, people might not know about the event or how it's going to be done. So we should increase our marketing and promotion on that. However, printing, we felt like wouldn't be necessarily the best way to do that with so many things being virtual right now. Next, moving on to programming, similar to printing in the first section, we decreased our budget for that because we figured that there's so many other ways to communicate nowadays other than just paper and flyers. So the next one is the online system. We put a little bit more of our budget into that to make sure it's really user-friendly experience and hopes to promote more people registering. And finally, moving on to transportation, we increased the budget in order to account for increased gas prices.
Thank you, Malia. So now moving on to the second half of our expenses, which includes facility rentals, exhibits, awards and recognition, food and beverage, and a miscellaneous category. We chose to increase meeting space budget because cost has likely increased over the last 3 years. And we are also anticipating more guests to come to our conference in 2022. And since we are expecting more guests, we are boosting our security budget. Next, we decided to increase scholarships and awards to recognize those making worthy and diligent effort to improve the experience industry. And finally, our food and beverage budget is our biggest expense, totaling in at $1,128,000. We increased the number of opening reception and closing banquet meals due to the increase of attendees. And lastly, we increased the budget for continental breakfast, breaks, and lunches, again, because we are anticipating more guests to join us in 2022. And that brings us to a grand total of $206,350. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.